Day 2 of the conference started with the regular Keep Fit exercise with Ajabal, Shonaike, and Alaba serving as instructors. This soon transited to plenary session with the theme, Growing Up with Technology Challenges and Prospects, with insight from the Quran and Sunnah. After the opening preliminaries,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وسيق الذين كفروا إلى جهنم زمرا إذا جاءوها فتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها ألم ياتكم رسل منكم يتلون عليكم آيات ربكم وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا قالوا بلى ولكن حقت كلمة العذاب على الكافرين.
We are about to listen to the chairman's opening remarks in person of Alhaji Jumat Ali.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wallahu allazi la ilaha illa huwa alimul ghaibi wa shahadati wa rahmanir rahim. I've been briefed about the topics that we dealt with yesterday, and I'm privileged to witness that of today, particularly the topic that you have chosen, growing in modern-day technological ecosystem, the prospects and the challenges with insights from the Quran and the Sunnah. This cannot be a most appropriate topic at a most auspicious time than today, than now, than the generation in which we have. There was a test carried out, a kind of research, very recently, as recent as 2019, and it was found out that every child that has access to either his own possession or he borrowed it to the technological gadgets, telephone of whatever nature, spends a minimum of 70% of the time each day with this gadget. 70%. 70%. And they found out that a lot of the 70%, the topics that are of interest to most of them are not related to their own educational or academic advancement, but to things of comfort and pleasure in forms of video music, in form of drama, gisting, and all kinds of things. Of course, there are also those who use it very, very productively, economically, academically, usefully.
Professor Nahil Kanil made his presentation to the delight of all, which was complemented by Aja Zainab Buraimo, who came all the way from United Kingdom on the impact of technology on Muslim children.
Associate Professor Dr. Nahil Mohammed Kamil Dangigala is from the Malam Dangigala family in Kumasi. He attended Al-Azhariya Islamic School, where he completed the Tahfizul Quran, then to Ochei Chechere Secondary School, Okes. He had his BSc in Geological Engineering at the then KNUST School of Mines, that's the current University of Mines and Technology, Humat Takwa, and an MBA as well as PhD in Business Administration at the International Islamic University, Malaysia.
The topic for my discussion for today is going to be on growing with technology, challenges and prospects with insights from the Quran and Sunnah. All right, so in the overview, we said when a photographer can't change a scene, he changes his angle and lens to capture the best part of that scene. Similarly, when you can't change a situation in your life, change your perspective to get the best out of that situation. Try to be a filter, not a sponge. Currently, we have technology, and whether we like it or not, like our chairman has rightly mentioned, one person will use the technology for something beneficial, someone else will use the technology for other things. Now, what are we supposed to do, particularly when it comes to our young brothers and sisters, or let's say our children? Let's see what are the negative consequences of the technology and see how we can maneuver our ways around it. All right. Now, in Islam, elements can be labeled as haram or unlawful based on two criteria. We have haram li dhatihi and haram li ghayrihi. Something can be forbidden based on its essence. This is in fiqh. If something is forbidden based on its essence, what it means is that wherever you find it, no matter how quality it is haram, and it will remain to be so till the judgment day because of its essence. For example, alcohol. Someone says, I have an alcohol that comes from Makkah. This alcohol is from Makkah, it's pure alcohol. When it comes to haram li dhatihi, something is forbidden based on its essence, like alcohol and like pork. Then there is the second category, where something is haram li ghayrihi, something forbidden based on an external factor. And if something is forbidden based on an external factor, the ulama in fiqh will tell you that particular product in itself, you cannot say it's halal or haram. It depends on what you use it for. In technology is one of them. If you use technology to call on the way of Allah, it becomes halal. However, if you use it to cause harm, la darar wa la dirar, no harm and no causing harm, and no reciprocating harm. If you use technology to cause harm or to reciprocate harm, then it's forbidden. If you use technology to call on the way of Allah, it's encouraged and you're going to be rewarded. And we know of the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or kama qal, or how it is said in the hadith. He says, whatever you do, whatever knowledge, good knowledge that you give out there, if anyone benefits out of it, you get the reward of the same reward the person does. So if you have shared a knowledge using technology and the person reads it and understands Islam, the reward of that, you get it. And when such a person also shared it, he also receives the reward and you also receive the second reward. And this is how it will go in quantuples and quantuples and quantuples. So just imagine, when you use technology, every morning just send one hadith to people in the group. Every morning. If you cannot, just one ayah, one verse that you read in the morning. Put the verse in WhatsApp group and share with your colleagues. Out of 100, inshallah, you're going to have at least 2 or 3 or even one person who will read, and it will have an impact, positive impact on him. And you gain the rewards. This is one way you can gain the knowledge. Now, what if you do the opposite? You use it and you share a particular knowledge that is harmful. You live to benefit, or I won't say benefit in this case. You live to enjoy all the sins that it will accumulate from it. May Allah forbid. This is one way we can use technology, something that can be haram li ghayrihi. If you use technology for something unlawful or something that is not encouraged, in this case, you and your things and your deeds have made technology forbidden. So this is a way we can have technology. Same happens to all technological aspects. Electronics, phones, television sets, all right? Anything else we have. If you use it towards the way of Allah and towards the way of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's guidance, then you're going to have some rewards. Opposite is also quite true. May Allah guide us. Next slide, please. All right, so now we look at it says, when the Prophet ﷺ listed the duties and responsibilities of every father to his children, swimming, horse riding, archery, or shooting, and walking were captured amongst them. The Prophet taught, as a father, there are some things that you should be able to teach your children. And these things were captured amongst them. Good. Now Allah says in the Quran, against them enemies, make ready your strength to the utmost of your power, including the steeds of war. This is Surah Al-Anfal, Quran chapter 6, verse 80. Now with regard to swimming, it is soundly narrated from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, everything in which there is no remembrance of Allah is idle play, except 4 things. Everything that we do which we do not remember Allah in it is idle. It's an idle play. Except 4 things. And now what are the 4 things? The first one, he says, a man playing with his wife, a man training his horse, a man running between 2 lines as in a race, and a man learning how to swim. And some scholars will say these things that are captured here is incumbent on every father to teach your children. Of course, you don't need to teach your children playing with your wife. That one, when he grows up, he will know. By a man training his horse is something you do for yourself, and then you teach your children as well. Now, currently, people ask the question, currently, do we say this message does not live in our time? Do we use horses now? We don't use much of horses. And some scholars will say, do what the Prophet says. Still go and find a horse and train the horse and train yourself on the horse and train your children how to ride the horse. But other scholars will say the Prophet ﷺ speaks for yesterday, for today, and for tomorrow. Therefore, what it means is movement with time. Whatever comes in time in relation to that, you need to learn. And Allah says in one surah, He says, وَالْخَيْلَ وَالْبِغَالَ وَالْحَمِيرَ لِتَرْكَبُوهَا وَزِينَةً وَيَخْلُقُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. That when Allah talks about the donkey, the camel, and all this, He says, it's for you to ride it. In the Quran, Allah says, it's for you to ride it, wazina, and for you to have some kind of, integrity. I mean, to show the ni'mah Allah give us, we have to show it. I don't know whether we know that. If Allah gives you enough money, wear a nice dress. Not because of something you don't want people to know, so you'll be wearing very old dresses. No, you are not showing the ni'mah of Allah. But in showing the ni'mah, do not go beyond it, because that becomes arrogance. So we give everything in moderation.
As a researcher and educationist, I am focusing on what I would consider the research question or the essential question. Because when we plan our lessons, the first thing we always ask ourselves, what is the essential question? So what I initially had on my slide is, does does technology hinder or help the Muslim child's learning? I framed it as a question because I wanted it to be reflective, and throughout the lecture, I would have been referring back so that at the end, in conclusion, we would be able to come to an affirmative statement based on what we have heard today on our view, our perspective, how we perceive technology. Very quickly, a real job interview. So our interns, our students, our children, God knows how many interviews my son had before he finally succeeded. And it told me a lot. And later when I began to examine and to dig deeper, it was a reflection of, firstly, the type of learning and also his personality. So it was a combination of both. But the essence of everything and what we are doing today is to prepare our kids to be successful at the first attempt. When we look here, what do we see? So this is our interns' experience interviewing for a software development company. And first of all, they had a conversation, informal, over dinner with the prospective employers. They solved some logic puzzles with a team. That was step 2. And then step 3, they were troubleshooting programming errors from an unfamiliar computer language. What were the results? Step 1, it was a great conversation. Step 2, did not solve the main logic problem, but displayed perseverance and collaboration. Step 3, did not correctly troubleshoot the problem, but displayed perseverance and collaboration. What does this tell us about the kind of skills employers are looking for in these interviews? Perseverance, collaboration, teamwork. Thank you. Very good. Technology is pervasive. Technology is everywhere. I was reading only yesterday about the intention of the UAE government by, I think, 100 years from now, they would like to be inhabiting Mars. Technology, probably, if it's in line with Qadar, would enable them to do so. The world no longer cares whether or not you are smarter than a fifth grader or how well you do at Trivial Pursuit. Trivial Pursuit is a board game. It's a knowledge-based board game. What the world cares about is not what you know, but what you can do with what you know. Coming back to the concept of skills. The question now becomes, do you have the skills and the will to use the knowledge you have acquired? When we look at technology, I'm sure before I go any further, we are almost concluding on the purpose. When I have my device, what is the essence? To what use? How should I make use of? Our honorable speaker spoke about some of the ways and what the kids, but how should you? When you pick up, when you leave here today, it could be as a learner, it could be as a Muslim woman in a professional or a business setting. What should be your mindset when you pick up your device? Is it just a tool to go onto YouTube, to go onto Facebook, to go onto Instagram? Or how? What is a productive way of utilizing this device and the affordances of this device? When you have technology, it's the same concept. What are you doing with the device? That essentially is what it's all about. Finally, to our young learners, we do know that there's a concept known as digital citizenship. The fact that we as educators believe, and some of us are advocating for technology in the learning environment, does not mean that we should not exercise a word of caution. You need to think how, and this ties back to Professor Kamil's speech. We need to remember we are Muslims. We are accountable. Yes, once you are on your device, there is so much being shared. Not everything is meaningful. Not everything is useful. What kind of citizen should you be?
Delegates later paid a visit to Planetarian as part of the sightseeing for the program, while some notable were commissioned.